Smell that? It's time for a swing dance reaction video.
No, no, no.
Woo! Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Street Smart Swing. My name is Jamin Jackson, also known as the Galactic Swing Dance Umpire. And I'm super excited to be scrutinizing another swing-themed video. This time it looks like it was posted by Vintage Swing Dance channel. I hope you guys subscribe to them. It's got some really good footage of a lot of vintage videos. I noticed this new posting. It's called Swing Dance 1938. I'm assuming it's footage from that actual time. I'm going to take a look at this and give you guys my thoughts on the footage. Let's do it.
It was the biggest jam session ever held. A 1938 Jamboree of Swing, and everyone turned out, including veteran Bill Robinson, Mr. Bojangles himself. When Elvis Presley was just a 4-year-old from Memphis, and the Beatles were barely born, 200,000 packed this stadium in Chicago to feel the music. Years later, there'd be an even bigger concert. Although the music would be a far cry from this swing night in Chicago, 300,000 would come to hear it at a place called Woodstock.
Wow, that was really interesting. One of the first things that I notice about footage like this, when it comes to the swing genre and the music and just culture, there are thousands of people totally aware of swing music then. I think that's just really hard for my brain to grasp because I live in the 21st century and, you know, there's maybe 1 million people who swing dance, possibly, or even have the slightest modicum of interest. But I look at this footage and I think it's fascinating that there are just thousands of people that are in a venue listening to swing music and totally excited that, you know, people like Bill Robinson is there dancing. I mean, this is a time in America where there were still these stigmas on people needing to be separate because of, you know, status and social situations. But on top of that, I think there were more aggressive, segregated issues then, which, you know, skin color, complexion, it still wasn't like something that people were completely comfortable with. To see, you know, someone with brown skin come in with someone with lighter brown skin, it's silly to us, but it's weird to see how I see Bill Robinson dancing in this footage and people are just kind of looking at him just like they want to be a part of what he's doing. They like what he's doing, but there's still a slight disconnect with the perception of really just liking him and really appreciating him as a person, as an equal. And I find that fascinating. I find that fascinating watching this old footage. I can kind of read that from looking at the mannerisms of people and how they respond to his talent. Bill Robinson is like, in my mind, one of the top influencers for modern dance, American dance. Without him, you wouldn't have moonwalking. You wouldn't have the swagger that Michael Jackson has in a lot of his moves. Sammy Davis Jr. borrowed a lot of his swagger from him. Even James Brown, you can see a lot of his movements are derivative from Bill Robinson. And if you guys don't know about him, I encourage you to look up more videos on Bill Robinson. He's just a phenomenal tap dancer beyond words. I'm telling you, just clarity beyond measure in the way he moved and the rhythms that he had at the time. There's a video of him dancing in one of his videos, and actually you can see it reflecting a lot of the same types of movements and style that was in the Michael Jackson video called Smooth Criminal. Now, of course, Bill Robinson did it first, but you can clearly see a lot of his movements were inspirational for artists like Michael Jackson, you know, 40 years later in time. So I think that's amazing to see that these kind of artists are faded away in history, black and white footage kind of makes them seem surreal, like they're not real people. But this is a real guy. This guy is American. He shaped dance in a very difficult time, I will admit. But without him, a lot of other dancers may not have been able to blossom the way they did so uniquely. So what do you guys think about this footage? I thought this was quite interesting. I saw some scenes here where there are blacks and whites dancing in the same building. I use that term blacks and whites to just show the dichotomy of how people looked at people at that time. Everybody is a shade of brown, really. I mean, we're talking about biology here and melanin in our skin. But these people, clearly some of them have darker brown skin and some are really fair in their complexion. And some of them are in the same room together. So I wonder how this footage was acquired, and really if it's 1938. Where is this happening? So, those are some of the questions I have looking at this footage. I think it's phenomenal, though. I think looking at this and hearing the compliments that this announcer with his voice is, talking about all this wonderful stuff happening with swing and all these people are here. And then I hear him make a comment about like Elvis Presley and the Beatles. And I think it's really interesting that I don't feel a real connection to the generation that came after, which I find it fascinating because a lot of their music kind of morphed into the music we have today in a more seamless manner. But I will say that my heart of hearts and my emotions are immediately connected to this generation, 1938, the greatest generation, right? And I don't know why that is. I think you can be saturated around music as a kid and listen to a certain genre for a long time, and then you develop an extreme affinity for that music. I liked swing music before I knew it was swing when I was a kid, because my mother told me I ended up liking one of the exact same songs my grandfather played when she was a kid. Now, I didn't know my grandfather liked swing music. I didn't know any of that, but I remember her crying one time telling me that was one of the songs that he used to listen to. And it happened to be Coco by Duke Ellington. So as a kid, I loved that song. They never played it for me. I just found it on a record. But I find it fascinating that I liked it even then without being like saturated with swing music. I grew up in the 1980s. I'm a Generation Xer, right? Right before the millennials. And I heard all of the Michael Jackson music. I heard a little bit of 70s music, but it was something about swing music that made me connect to it. It was this darker tone. It wasn't as ham-fisted. There was just this subtlety of rhythm and complexity that was there that evoked a dense reaction from me on an emotional level. And it still does to this day. So I find it quite fascinating to know that, oh wow, he's talking about Elvis Presley and like the Beatles, and my brain was just like, whatever. I can't even feel that music as much as I would like to admit it. Though I do appreciate their contributions to music, but I feel like I'm connected to this generation. So what do you guys think about this? What do you think about this footage? I think it's fascinating. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. If you are new to swing dancing and you've never done swing dancing before, you can dance to this music. Clearly, you're seeing people dance in this footage, and people still do this today. So I would encourage you to check out some of my free courses below. I've got about 30 different courses to kind of give you a broad perspective of swing dancing. There's a lot of solo movement you can learn by yourself, but you can also learn how to dance with your partner at home and take the same concepts that you've learned and be able to apply it with complete strangers. I think that is one of the most wonderful things about swing dancing, is that you can do it as a regular person or someone who's a professional like me. So check out those free courses if you like. Let me know what you thought about this video in the comment section. If you haven't already, check out Vintage Swing Dance channel on YouTube and subscribe to them. They've got a lot of great content. With that said, guys, if I don't see you in one of my classes online, hopefully I get a chance to see your reaction, comments in the reaction section. Take care.